On November 11th, 2019, I began my first playthrough of the Last Remnant, and after 14 hours of tribulations, I set the game down on November 16th, 2019. It was a unique experience for me because despite noticing my lack of enjoyment very early on, some unidentifiable aspect of the game just barely managed to pull me back in for another day. However, at the end of it all, the game just wasn't interesting enough for me to continue. So in this here spoiler-filled video, here's why Axelrod couldn't finish The Last Remnant. After playing the game for about 3 hours, I finally nailed down one significant factor why I wasn't having much fun with the game: the handling of its world. When I think of traditional JRPGs out there, they usually start off with similar story beats. You start off in a village, getting to know the villagers and other friendly characters. The world is ever so slightly explained before the town is ripped away from you and you're forced into the world. This is a very common trope, but it's also very effective. You get time to care about characters and learn more about them. The Last Remnant doesn't take this approach. The game starts you in a cutscene and introduces your sister, and then she is kidnapped. There is no opportunity to grow any sort of attachment towards the sister, but Rush, that's the main character's name, who is completely obnoxious by the way, goes off on his quest to find and recover her from the clutches of evil. I typically like to play games for their story, however mediocre they may be, but in the end, I couldn't find anything about the Last Remnant story to be interesting, intriguing, or even mediocre to keep me playing. An example is who or what is the Last Remnant. Remnants were mentioned many times throughout my 14 hours of play, but not a single time did the game explain what a remnant actually is. Is it a monster? A man-made weapon? A fungus? Treasure chest? The world may never know.
He did it! He found the Ark! Who or what is he?
Wouldn't it be awesome if I knew what binding the Ark meant? And like how binding the Ark of this town, how important that would be? The most interesting aspect I found in the game was its combat. It's a very unique take, and while it doesn't give you hardly any control, I found the customization options to be really fun to tinker with. You have unions, which can have a maximum of 5 party members inside, and you can have at least 4 unions. In order to fill out your union roster, you need to do side quests and purchase people. Finding these people was a fun experience, especially when I saved up 19,000 gold for one who brought the ruckus. The last thing is the battle rank. The way the game works, the more battle ranks you have, the stronger you and your unions have become. They work in a similar way to levels. However, the flip side to that is the higher the battle rank, the more difficult fights become. This is a baffling idea to me, and I don't find the concept enjoyable. The game has such a unique idea with the combat, and it actively punishes you for choosing to enjoy it. Regardless of how weighed the system is, I can't stand behind the system knowing that if I got my battle rank to a certain point, fights could become impossible to defeat. So those are pretty much my thoughts. There are other things like the wonky animations, the funky way to engage combat, the awesome autosave feature, and the decent voice acting that stand out as well, but overall this game could not hold my attention. I ended up setting the game down after a few attempts of a boss fight at the Nest of Eagles. I had to fight 2 bosses, at least 4 enemy unions, and reinforcements. I was headed down a similar path I tread on the Star Ocean integrity and faithlessness, and I decided it was enough. Will I come back to it? Doubtful. Thanks for watching, appreciate it, see you on the next video.